If you look at the storied past of the LSU School of Veterinary Medicine, it isn't hard to see why a state-of-the-art medical facility for horses exists in the middle of Louisiana. With an incredibly diverse range of equine activities available, and a horse industry that boasts nearly $2.5 billion in economic impact annually, the horses of Louisiana have a prominent place in the state's financial and recreational circles. Simply put, the horses of the South deserve to have the best medical care available. But the equine clinic at LSU is about more than just routine checkups and the occasional injury. This is the haven that horse owners have continually turned to for answers. When all else has failed, this is the place where veterinary medicine begins. For over a quarter of a century, horse owners have relied on LSU. In that time, this center of equine health has developed into the most comprehensive care facility in the state and surrounding region, rivaling any top school in the nation in terms of available expertise and healthcare resources. It hasn't taken long for Louisiana to become recognized on the national and global scene as a leader in equine health. Facilities and equipment are vital aspects of a successful program, and while LSU continually strives to enhance and build upon its current success in that regard, it is people that have energized this program from the beginning, and they continue to do so today. It was that energy that led to the development of the Equine Health Studies program in the first place. It was that energy that led to the school's dedication of resources toward building a horse health program that could serve the needs the way they needed to be served, to build something that a horse owner anywhere could be proud of and confident in. And it was that same energy that inspired the onslaught of initiative when LSU led the charge to rescue and care for nearly 500 of Louisiana's horses following Hurricanes Katrina and Rita. After the storm subsided and the rescued horses had been reclaimed, LSU's role was nearly finished. But there was one horse we would see again. Allow me to introduce you to our little guest. Little, I suppose, is relative in her case. Oh, she probably doesn't have any Grand Prix or Kentucky Derbies in her future, but the size of her heart is probably what mattered most, as it does in most cases, I suppose. This is Molly, a 15-year-old Shetland pony. If you think back to the first horse you ever rode as a child, no doubt Molly is pretty close to that memory. She isn't exceptionally fast, and one could argue about how impressive she looks. But Molly has what all great horses either do or long to possess: extreme intelligence and a heart the size of the Gulf of Mexico.
They were doing animal rescue there. And Ginger Morvan, who's one of the owners of Jefferson Feed, said, "Kay, there's this pony down the street. Nobody has a trailer." And there was Molly. She was in a yard. Her barn had been completely caved in. We picked her up. We transport them in the back of our truck. We backed it up to the levee. We said, "Come on, Molly," and jumped her in and took her home. I could see between my cars that she was laying down and the dog was sort of barking at her. Then I started seeing all of the other attack wounds that she had, her legs, her back legs. This leg was not the only one. She was attacked everywhere.
Maybe it was the years spent gathering wisdom. Perhaps it was a lifetime of being a little small among larger horses. But Molly came to LSU armed with wits and a mountain of courage to overcome and persevere. On January 4th, Molly came to LSU. For the past 3 weeks, her owner and local veterinarian, Dr. Allison Barca, had relentlessly tried to save her leg.
I've never seen anything quite so devastated. I've seen horses wounded worse, but I've never seen a little animal lay there with its eyes closed. And I said, "Okay, I think it's time, to put her to sleep." That's when she quickly corrected me. Said she didn't think she needed to put the pony to sleep. She wanted to have the leg amputated and a prosthetic applied. So I sat and thought about it. Normally, I would just tell you you're completely wrong, but this pony's been going around with 3 legs for a month now. So why not cut her leg off? And our next step was to call LSU and tell the story to them.
Her lower leg had gradually and slowly deteriorated. As time passed, it became apparent that amputation was the only remaining solution that might save her life. But that decision didn't come easy. For one thing, it was a procedure that is rarely ever performed in equine veterinary medicine.
This was considered a challenging case. Like many of the cases that we get here, we're a referral institution, so we don't see too many routine things. Most of what we see are actually horses that are sent here by veterinarians in the field that want a second opinion, or they want a specific diagnostic test performed that's not available elsewhere, or an intensive care case that requires a lot of medical treatment and monitoring.
Calls to experts were made and hours of consultation ensued in order to approach the operation in a way so as to ensure a favorable outcome. The particulars were discussed. There would be no second chance. If attempted, everyone had to be completely committed to give it their all, and also be willing to stop if it became apparent that it was not going to be successful. Molly's well-being had to be the central factor considered in the decision-making. The fate of little Molly was in the hands of men and women willing to try, willing to give Molly a chance. And try would prove to be the most important factor.
After doing all that research and watching her and talking with people, it became very evident she was ideal. She's small. She didn't have a lot of extra weight to carry on the good leg. She's very smart, took care of herself, and she had a committed owner. Molly hobbled in on 3 legs. The leg was bandaged from the lower part that had been damaged, and when we took the bandage off, the actual leg was obviously dead.
As Molly's operation approached, the plan was to amputate the right front limb and to fit her with a prosthesis. The potential for complications was high.
Following surgery, Dr. Moore and company put an amazing cast on this pony with I still call it a prosthetic device, was attached to the bottom of this cast, and Molly just kicked butt on it.
Molly never batted an eye. Her attitude and intelligence were so incredibly evident from the moment she first arrived at LSU. She knew she was in trouble. She knew there was help, and she was going to do everything she could to see that the effort was a success. She maintained a great attitude and appetite and would lie down frequently, even alternating sides to give her good leg a rest. Through a complete team effort, Molly's case continues to be a success today. And while the efforts of her attending local veterinarian, the contributions of LSU, and the dedication and understanding of her owner were all contributing factors to a favorable outcome, Molly's own will to persevere and overcome the incredible odds stacked against her was perhaps the most important factor of all. But Molly's work isn't finished. Her experience has made her an ideal candidate to go out and help others who have experienced similar obstacles in their own lives. Molly will be working with children as a therapeutic friend, children who have also suffered life-altering injury or illnesses. As Molly's case comes full circle, it bears repeating that it was the energy and enthusiasm of individuals that made this effort a success. It is that energy that has made it possible for Molly to not only continue her own life, but for her to be able to go out and help others as well.
I think this illustrates 2 points. One, you have to go into it with an open mind here, and we do that no matter what kind of case it is. Try to look at it from a medical standpoint, an economic standpoint, and an emotional standpoint, because many times these horses are more than just a racehorse or more than just a part of a business. They're part of some people's families.
Among its state-of-the-art facilities, LSU's Equine Health Studies program recently added an equine lameness unit and a new intensive care unit to its overall facility complex. The lameness unit was specifically designed to provide an ideal service environment to evaluate subtle differences in a horse's natural gait, to determine the location of even the slightest injury. The intensive care unit provides a clean and ideal atmosphere for horses to recover from illness or a recent surgery. Available diagnostic ranges are wide, from CAT scans to treadmill evaluations, bone scans, and digital radiology. LSU continually strives to maintain the most advanced diagnostic tools available to provide the highest level of treatment for the horses of Louisiana.
Few places in the world can rival the incredibly rich and diverse environment that exists for horses in Louisiana. From racing to polo, dressage and jumping, to the working cow horse and the backyard's kids horse, Louisiana's equine heritage continues to be as vibrant as it has ever been. These animals have a special place in the hearts of men and women of Louisiana, and they will always have a place to turn to in their time of need at the School of Veterinary Medicine of LSU.